Hello, my name is Bernard Horn, and this video is a discussion about motion graphics and what I understand about it and what I have learned about motion graphics. The first thing that comes to mind is how far back the concept goes. If in the articles that we're assigned to read in class, if you look at old caveman drawings, paintings that were on the wall, they weren't just figures that were, in one position, like just standing straight up. Usually, the characters were in motion, which meant the person that actually did the paintings were trying to communicate that this character was actually moving when they were trying to kill buffaloes or whatever it was they were doing. That the character was drawn with the legs spread apart as if they were running, which tells me how important motion was even back then. How important it was to use in order to support the story, or in order to drum up some kind of emotion in the viewer, the person that was listening or watching. So I just think it's interesting that even from back then, throughout history, there have been um, different people or different ways to try to improve on that motion so that the movement can become more organic, that they begin to move more and begin to look more realistic until we have what we have today in motion picture. uh, so I mean I have learned that motion is very important in storytelling because it has a way of drawing your audience into the story and also triggering the emotions that will respond to the story you're trying to tell. An example that I can use is like when I go to movies. I love sci-fi science fiction movies like King Kong, Godzilla, all that kind of stuff. Well, what really draws my attention and pulls out my emotion of excitement is when you go from movement that is what we consider normal speed, then all of a sudden, bam, you have a slow motion in the middle of an action scene. Those kind of changes or motion changes draws out the excitement in me, and it makes the person that's looking go wow, it enhances the story at that point. So I think that in whatever type of animation or motion graphics that we are creating, um, it the success of it depends on how we orchestrate the motion. The success of the story depends on what type of motion we're using to convey a certain feeling, to convey a certain mood in that particular story. Um, and it kind of reminds me of the same thing with audio. Um, I think they work hand in hand. Um, if you got bad sound, you're gonna have a bad movie, or you're gonna have a bad film or a bad video. So I think not only is the motion important, but also the audio is important. I love martial art movies, and I've been watching them since the '70s. I don't want to date myself, tell my age, but um, and the one thing that always enhances the fight scenes is the sound. Now, I know that the sounds are sort of exaggerated for excitement, for entertainment, but it's just amazing how you forget about that part, and the audio draws you into the action. The way it sounds when somebody gets kicked or get hit, it just enhances that that particular contact point at because of the sound. And so I always imagine what would a martial art film be like with no sound. So I went on YouTube and I pulled up um a fight scene from a movie that I really like, and I muted the sound and played the video. It's very short, but I played it. And the impact was, I mean, was horrible. It was like no kind of feeling behind it, no emotions, no excitement. All you saw was just people moving and swinging at each other and kicking at each other. But you actually start noticing other stuff like, hey, he really didn't hit him. I mean, I could see that he kind of moved before the punch came, because the sound, in some ways, pulls your attention away from all those little details. So I just feel that um, audio is extremely important in storytelling. It plays a role in the feeling that you want to drum up in your audience. It plays a role in supporting the mood of the scene at that particular moment. If you're sad, you want sad music, sad audio. If you're happy, you want this audio that's exciting, that's gonna, make the adrenaline start to flow. If it's action, you want like all this different types of I don't know, orchestra sounds and loud crashes here and there. So I think it's very important. I think it goes hand in hand. Audio supports motion graphics. Uh, I think you can get away with motion graphics on certain things without sound. If you're just trying to, um, for instance, in After Effects, you can actually um, take an object and put certain effects on it and make that object look happy, bouncing around, or make that object look sad, droopy, bent over. So I think you can create emotions and feelings through motion graphics, but I think the two works together better to pull your audience in and communicate the story that you're trying to tell. So I personally think that audio and motion works hand in hand um, to enhance a story. And I know this is very short, but that's what the understanding I got out of motion graphics, as far as what it can and cannot do, and sound in communication. So thank you very much, and it's been a fun class. Bye bye.